Hey Nash, what should we make?
Well, we have to make our hangover ramen, so let's make some chashu pork to go with it.
All right, let's make chashu pork. Today, we're gonna make chashu pork, which is a Japanese braised pork belly, typically used in tonkatsu ramen. We're gonna make this for a ramen, not exactly tonkatsu, but we'll get to that. Not to be confused with chashu pork, which is a Chinese barbecue pork, usually made with pork butt, pork shoulder, the same thing. So, hey, without further ado, let's go make some chashu. So we start with some pork belly. You want to make sure and pat it with a paper towel on both sides, make sure it's all dry. And then we want it to be kind of even this way. So if you have something like this where it's just piece sticking out, just want to go ahead and get rid of that. We could do more, but we're just going to leave it like that. And then we are going to go ahead and in both sides, we're just going to put the pork, we're gonna poke the pork a bunch with a fork, or you could use a knife, whatever. We're just so the marinade and all the seasoning can kind of penetrate. And we want this to be kind of an even rectangle. So I'm just gonna slice off that piece, and don't let any of this go to waste. All right, so there we have kind of a nice little rectangle. So now the next thing we want to do is just cut, we don't want to cut too deep, but just gonna cut little scores on the meat side like this. And again, that's gonna help the seasoning penetrate, and it should help us roll this guy up a little bit easier. And then we want to start from the sort of thinner end. We just want to roll this guy up nice and tight if you can, well, as tight as you can. I might need to trim some of this because I think that's too big. Okay, now we start from the thinner end, roll this guy up as tight as you can, and then we take some butcher's twine and we just tie this guy up. There's a way better way of doing this, I just don't really know how to do it. Is what we're making traditional? Probably not. Is what we ever make traditional? Probably not. All right, it's not perfect, but this will work. Obviously, this is not something I'm good at, but we're cool. We're cool, we'll make it work, you know? So then in a hot pan with a little bit of oil, we're just gonna go ahead and lay our guy down. And we're just gonna roll this guy around a little bit, get a sear on all sides. This will only take a few minutes. And again, like I said, is this traditional? Probably not. But will it taste good? Absolutely. That's what we're going for. I am not a Japanese chef, nor am I even a chef. So we do our best, folks, here. The point is, if I can do it, you can do it. That's what we're going for. All right, and then once we have a nice sear all around, we go ahead and pull our guy, set it aside. Then in a pot, like a Dutch oven or some sort of a cast iron pot, or any pot you got, it doesn't really matter. Go ahead and add half a cup of soy sauce, a cup of sake, I don't know, I'm probably pronouncing all this stuff wrong. Cup of mirin, half a cup of brown sugar. Mine's a little clumpy, but it'll all unclump as it melts. Just give that a little bit of a stir. And we put in our pork here, and we throw in, you probably want a shallot, but I don't have any shallots, so we're just gonna do a half an onion. And with the aromatics, you don't need to dice them or anything. We're just gonna leave them as is. A few stalks of green onion, cloves of garlic, and then peel and rough chop about an inch of ginger. Then we add water until your pork is just barely submerged. Turn the heat up, bring this to a boil. And once you got a nice rolling boil, go ahead and lower your heat to medium low, probably low. And then we're just gonna let this simmer for probably about 2 hours, flipping your pork probably every about 30 minutes, just to get a nice even cook, a nice even braise, until the pork is all the way cooked through. I'll see you in a bit. Once your pork is all the way cooked through, go ahead and kill the heat, and then we're just gonna let this cool. And once your pork has cooled a little bit, it's still pretty fragile, so we're not gonna cut it just yet. You wanna take it and put it into a container or a vacuum seal bag or a Ziploc bag, whatever you got. Pour in some of that juice that we cooked it in, and then we're just gonna get this guy sealed up, get all the air out, and then we're gonna let this cool in the fridge overnight, or if you're in a rush, you could throw it in the freezer for probably an hour or two until it's cool but not frozen.
Several days later.
And after marinating its own juices in the fridge for a day or two, this is our pork chashu. It doesn't look that pretty, but it doesn't matter. We're just gonna slice it up anyway. So get rid of his little string clothings or whatever. That sounded weird. Why would you say that? I don't know. Is a mushroom a vegetable? I mean, it's a fungus. And we're gonna slice that real thin, but before we do, we're gonna break out the torch. And I'm gonna torch the outside. Now we take our guy and we're just gonna make nice thin slices. The fat on the outside just melting. It's freaking awesome. And this last one just kind of fell apart. Oh well. Oh well. Take a few of our little slices here and we just torch these guys. You could sear them in a pan if you wanted to, but this is way more fun. Sounds like popcorn. Smells like delicious. These guys are ready to serve. Chart them on both sides. And I mean, you could chart them as much as you want if you want them to be crispier, although this seems pretty freaking perfect. So, like I said, ready to serve. Ideally, normally, traditionally, these would go in tonkatsu ramen. But put them in any ramen you want, or just eat them as is. Do whatever you want. World's your oyster. And there we have our chashu pork, ready to put in ramen, or just eat it with your bare hands. You know, why not? It's time for a bite. Cheers. That's stupid how good it is. It literally just melts in your mouth. It definitely absorbed a lot of the flavors and marinade, and that torching it at the end. And like I said, you could get the same kind of effect if you just sear it real quick in a really, really hot cast iron pan, but super delicious. I mean, it's just delicious marinated pork belly. I don't know what else to say because it melts in your mouth. Out of 10. So go make it. And that's what I think. But hey, let's see what Nash thinks. Hey bud, how you doing?
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Let's check it out. We got this chashu pork that we're gonna put in ramen in our next video, but here you go. What do you think?
Wow, that is just a flavor bomb that literally melts in your mouth. I love it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
Nash approves, I approve. It's chashu pork, it's great, it's delicious. Go make it, put it in some ramen, or just eat it as is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Love you all. If you wouldn't mind taking a second to subscribe, like, share, comment, it'd help us out. We really appreciate that. Make sure and hit that bell so you get notifications. If there's anything you want me to make, you want me and Nash to taste, go ahead and drop that down in the comments or go to our website, timschaoskitchen.com. Send us a message there. And hey, just remember, cook more, eat better, embrace the chaos. That's it for now, folks. Until next time, be good and peace.